Guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ajiboye Olanrewaju Ibrahim, the founder and CEO of Tax Savvy and Pro Accounting firm. So we design smart, easy to use digital solutions ranging from Excel automations to web applications and Telegram bots that helps SMEs manage tax compliance, accounting and day-to-day operations with greater accuracy, speed and control. So in my last video, I showed you the smart accounting templates that automatically post entries into journals, ledgers, the financial statements, as well as tax computation. But that template was designed basically for a trading firm that is involved in buying and selling. So due to popular demand, so I was asked to make a template specifically for schools as well as cooperative societies. So before I proceed, I want to appreciate all your support, kind words, patronages for the last template I did for schools. I really appreciate and I promise to do more. So let's actually proceed. I'm going to show you the demo for the school first. I'll start with the school first. So let's go ahead and start. So as usual, we have the data capture farm where you capture the basic information, the cash flow direction, whether it's inflow, outflow, or non-cash flow, the transaction description, the amount, the dates, and document reference. So those are the basic information you input, while the smart accountants will do the rest. So I'll quickly run you through all these transactions so as not to take much of your time. I would go ahead and be posting. You'll be seeing it as I'm posting. I'll fast forward it so that I will not waste much of our time. So let's proceed. Okay, so now that we are done with all the data capture and the manual posting, so the smart accounting template will now do the rest. It will automatically give you the journals slash ledger, the trial balance, the income statement, the balance sheets, the cash flow statement, and the tax computations. So you see the output of all what we've done. So the first thing we are looking at is the journal entry. So you can see this is the journal slash ledger entries. These are all the entries that we've posted. And on top of it, we have the slicer where you can filter for each account. For example, if I want to view just bank statement, I'll just click on the bank statement. It will only give me the entries, the journal entries and the ledger entries for bank. And if I'm looking as lender, it will do the same thing and filter to lender. So if I want to go back to all the entries, I'll just click back on my filter. So everything will now show. So the next thing is the trial balance. So you can see the summary of all the balances in the ledger, which must equate to zero. So it's equating to zero. All these things were automatically computed. I didn't input them manually. Then the next thing is the income statement. So the income statement, it will show you the revenue from the revenue down to the earnings before tax. In addition to that, I also did like a working note to show you how I arrived at all these figures. For example, for the revenue working notes one, if you refer to working notes one, just below, you see revenue consists of tuition and other fees. So addition of this give us this 3850 million. So all these are automatically computed. The same thing with cost of sales and administrative expense and advert expense. So then over here I have the opening and closing entry. So if you have any opening entry or closing inventory, you just input them manually here. So for example, if I input, let's assume we don't have anything for the opening entry, but for the closing entry, let's assume we have 300,000 for the opening closing entry. So once I input it, you see that it will automatically reflect in the cost of sales, in our computation of the cost of sales. So you can see the opening entry, opening inventory, purchase, teacher's salary, expense inventory. So the closing entry will automatically appear here, which will also reflect in the income statement. So the next thing is the balance sheet. So our balance sheets or statement of financial position, which will give us the value for the non-current assets, the current asset, total asset, current liability, equity, and I also have a working note of how I arrived at each of these one. For example, for the working note 5 for non-current assets, you see it below. So to give you the figure, same thing for the non-current asset for working note 6, which is the addition of all this to give us 9.2 million, which is this. The same thing for 7 and 8. So the next statement we'll look at is the cash flow statement. So the cash flow statement will give us the cash flow from operating activities, investing activities, as well as financing activities. And you can see the computation for each of these below, just as we did for the income statement and the balance sheets. So it's very explanatory and automated. Everything is automated. Apart from the only thing that is manual is what you have to capture manually. Then the last item on the list will now be the tax computation. So automatically, smart accountant will compute your tax for you. So you can see the earnings before tax. So if you have any disallowable expenses such as this depreciation, it will automatically post it here. So you can see everything is automated end to end. So you can see the first tax band of 800,000. The rate is 0%. So that's why you're having 0 naira here. So the next 2.2 million naira. So since our taxable income is 2.8 million naira, so the next 2.2 million naira will be the next tax band at 15%. So it has computed it 15% of 200,000, which is 300,000. So the total tax, personal income tax that the owner of the school is paying is 300,000. Okay, so that brings us to the end of this video. So in my next video, I will be looking at the templates for a cooperative society. So just leave a positive comment, like, share, and for further inquiries, you can simply reach me through the description below. So I'll put my email address, my phone number, so you can just reach us, and we'll be glad to attend to you. Thanks for your time and see you at the next class. Thank you.